I've had this bike for a little under a year, and in that time I've put 10,000 miles on it. That riding has been a combination of commuting to work. I do about a 20-mile commute from the outskirts of the city to central London. That includes some stints on dual carriageways, so with speed limits of about 50 miles an hour, carving through some of the central London traffic, which is standstill at times. I've also done some longer rides as well and some bigger tours, so I went up to Scotland to do the Highland Scramble. I must say, London, when the sun comes out, is the best city in the world, but the rumours are true. The weather here is absolutely diabolical. I think this is the first time we have had sunshine out consistently for 3 days in a row. That's the first time in what feels like forever. So, back to the review. Let's go over the 5 things that I really do not like about this bike. The first thing I have to say is the weight. Now, for a bike that's marketed as an Urban GS, you'd kind of assume that the urban part of that title meant that it would have the ability to really cut through traffic in quite a robust way, but what I found was that the weight of this bike is actually astronomical. I mean, I know, and I did know before buying this bike, that it was 220 kilograms, and that is a very, very heavy weight for a motorbike. As the title suggests, I thought it wouldn't be that much of an impact on the daily commute. As you're going through really, really condensed traffic, and I'm talking standstill traffic, if there are areas that you can't get through and you need to turn and really sort of do some quite technical maneuvers, it is incredibly difficult. And for about the first 6 months, I really did struggle with that. And I didn't come straight from riding a small 125 onto this. I did, in fact, you know, I have been riding for about 7 years prior to that. Ah, sorry buddy. This brings me on to my second point, which is the turning circle. It really doesn't have that much give either way. The angle that you get is not effective in thick, heavy traffic. And again, thinking about that name, Urban GS, it really suggests something of a different ability. If you're stuck, again, standstill traffic, and you have a couple of cars in front of you and you need to get your way around those, I've found myself, combined with the weight of the bike, in some real sweaty moments, and just really not ideal. There have been times where I've been at work and I've had to sort of turn the bike around, and it's got quite a slippery floor, and because of the weight of the bike and the lack of traction that I had, it does put you in a bit of a situation where I feel a bit nervous occasionally manoeuvring it. It's something you do need to expect when buying this bike, that it is really not that agile. So next up on my dislike list comes in at the engine. Now, it's nothing to do with the performance of this engine, it's merely to do with the way that it runs so hot. As I'm carving through traffic in London and it's a summer's day, I've noticed the engine temperature getting to temperatures that I did not even expect it to. It went up to 143 one day. Being air cooled is just completely ridiculous. It's got this tiny, tiny little oil cooler on the front, which pretty much does nothing if the bike is not moving. And if you're in the city, you're in that urban environment, you're not going to be moving that fast, especially at times in rush hour. So that sort of links into the next point, which is that it drinks quite a lot of oil. And I've been on some forums, and I think this is something that a lot of our 9T riders have. Some don't, but quite a few do. So I'm taking you guys on a bit of a tour of London. We just had Westminster over there. Let's try and cut my way into this lane without dying. So I'm sat here, and I did have the intention of having 5 things that I really hate about this bike, but I'm really currently scratching my head at the last 2. With that being said, I think I'm going to end the video there. Now, if you have enjoyed this video, please do like, comment, subscribe. I'd love to hear your views and your experiences if you do own an Urban GS or an R9T for that matter.